Today, we talk about tear-prone sensitivity. Have you ever experienced moments like this? For example, during an argument, someone raises their voice or says something harsh, and before you can even respond, your eyes instantly well up with tears. It's not because you're scared, nor are you trying to seek sympathy. It's because you're holding so much inside. You're trying with all your might to keep your emotions in check, to silence that trembling part of you that wants to defend, explain, or just be understood without sounding irrational or weak. You're standing there, heart pounding, organizing your thoughts carefully, choosing your words with respect and clarity. But the moment those tears start to fall, all your effort seems to vanish in the other person's eyes. They see emotion, not reason. They see a reaction, not the depth of your intent. You're not being illogical. You're just deeply invested. You care, sometimes too much. You speak with sincerity, not to manipulate, but because you long to be heard clearly. But your emotions, which have been locked up for days, weeks, maybe even years, start flooding out. Not because you've broken, but because you've been holding on for too long. And the most heartbreaking part, sometimes, the moment you break down isn't triggered by cruelty, but by kindness. It's that one unexpected gentle tone, a kind word after a rough day, a hand on your shoulder when you thought no one noticed. That's what undoes you. That's what breaks the armor you've been wearing, the mask you've been holding up all day. And when it falls completely. Do you find yourself resenting this side of yourself? The way your voice trembles when all you want is to speak clearly. The way your tears show up before your points do. The way others dismiss you as too emotional when all you wanted was to explain your perspective. You end up in bed at night, wide awake, running the entire conversation back in your mind. Every pause, every glance, every sentence. You dissect your own behavior with surgical precision. Was I too much? Did I say something wrong? Did they think I was being manipulative just because I cried? If this sounds familiar, then maybe you are, as some say, a tear-sensitive soul. But let's make something absolutely clear. This is not a disorder. It's not something broken in you. It's not a flaw in your wiring. What it really means is that you feel deeply, you observe deeply, you care sincerely. And yes, that can come with a cost, but it's also what makes you uniquely you. You pay attention to detail, not just facts, but people's tones, energy, facial expressions, the way their voice shifts when they're hiding something. You try so hard to keep harmony. You want to be understood so badly, not out of ego, but because connection matters to you on a soul level. And yet, the fear of saying the wrong thing, of pushing someone away, keeps you tiptoeing on emotional eggshells. You're not too much. You're not fragile. You're deeply kind. You've probably been this way since you were a child. The one who stayed quiet when adults were angry. The one who held their breath in conflict, who internalized every sigh and silence, who learned to decode a look before a word was even spoken. Maybe when friends became distant, you didn't ask why. You asked what you did wrong. You looked inward, always searching for where you might have failed. And when you felt anger, you buried it. Not because you lacked the fire, but because you feared the consequences of letting it burn. You've learned that emotions, especially the explosive kind, can destroy trust, shatter connections, and sometimes cause people to walk away. So you became the calm one, the composed one, the one who listens more than speaks, the one who apologizes first, even when you're not sure what for. But inside, there's chaos. There's a storm you don't let others see. And when it builds up too long, it finds a way out. Not in words, but in tears. Yet so few people see the effort it takes to keep that storm at bay. They don't recognize the invisible labor of constantly filtering your words, your tone, your reactions. They don't know how often you swallow your frustration. They see only the tear, not the restraint, not the discipline, not the weight behind it. And so, they label you overly sensitive, dramatic, too soft. But they don't ask how long you held it in before it spilled. Why are you like this? The answer often lies in childhood. In psychology, tear-prone sensitivity is rarely about weakness. It's often rooted in hyper-empathy, a heightened sensitivity to emotional cues. This level of sensitivity often comes from growing up in an environment where love was conditional, where praise had to be earned, where affection was given only when you behaved, when you performed, when you didn't cause trouble, While others grew up with permission to throw tantrums, to slam doors, to scream and still be loved, you grew up cautious, careful, responsible. You knew that even one misstep could withdraw affection or cause tension. So, you became hyper-aware, hyper-responsible. You didn't act out. You behaved. You read between the lines. You learned to regulate your tone and soften your needs. You learned that being good meant being quiet, that being safe meant being useful, that being loved meant never being a burden. So now, even as an adult, when conflict arises, your instinct isn't, did I make a fair point? It's, did I just ruin everything? You want to be the good one, the kind one. So much so that even when you're hurting, you hide it. You mask it with politeness. You comfort others while your own heart is breaking. You apologize when your feelings get too loud. You stifle your needs because somewhere along the way, you learned that expressing them made you too much. But here's the truth. You've been carrying too much alone. You've been bending over backward in relationships, thinking it's your job to keep the peace. But in doing so, you've lost touch with your own peace. So what now? How do we begin to heal this pattern? Step 1. Allow yourself to be soft. Let yourself feel. Let the tears come without shame. Crying isn't weakness. It's a release. It's your body's way of saying, I've held on long enough. When you cry, you're not being irrational. You're being honest. Don't punish yourself for that. Don't apologize for being the kind of person who feels deeply. It's brave. Step 2. Pause. Ask yourself, am I nurturing this connection, or am I performing emotional labor just to keep it intact? Are you constantly censoring yourself, sacrificing your needs to keep the relationship going? If so, that's not love. That's survival, and your well-being should never be the price you pay for someone else's comfort. You have the right to express disappointment. You have the right to say no. You're allowed to dislike something. That's not selfish. That's called boundaries. Not everyone deserves the softest parts of you. Not every room deserves your light. Step 3. Start practicing self-acceptance. You don't need to toughen up. You need to become your own safest place. Practice embracing the version of you that cries easily, that overthinks, that cares more than most people do. That's not weakness. That's the shape of your soul. It's what makes your love so genuine. It's what makes your presence comforting to others. And it deserves to be protected, not stifled. True strength isn't about becoming cold or impenetrable. It's not about never breaking. Real strength is about remaining soft in a world that keeps trying to harden you. It's about choosing compassion for yourself, over and over again. It's about learning that your sensitivity is not a liability. It's your superpower. So, my dear, from this moment forward, stop apologizing for your softness. You've spent years showing up for others. Now, it's time to show up for yourself. Leave room in your life to rest, to cry, to breathe. Let your emotions live. Let them pass. And when they overflow, be the one who holds yourself gently through the storm. You don't need to become who the world expects. You just need to become someone who can finally sit with your feelings, without shame. Someone who can look in the mirror, puffy-eyed and trembling, and still say, I'm proud of you for feeling. I'm proud of you for staying kind. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. And you are. 提示每分钟视频课容那约1000个字